If you struggle to say no, feel guilty for needing space, or feel tired of being stretched too thin, this episode is for you. I wanted to give you a very straightforward framework of how to create boundaries for your personal relationships and your work relationships. Okay. So we're going to learn how to set boundaries, and this means that you're going to be able to protect your peace, lead yourself well, and show up in every space that you're called to. This one you'll want to bookmark and come back to later. This one you might want to bookmark and come back to so that you can practice the framework, okay? So before we dive into the steps, why do boundaries matter? Well, it's not about keeping people out. It's about keeping your values in. Because when we say no, we are protecting what matters to us. When we say yes, and we feel guilty or there's something off in our alignment, then we are abandoning ourselves, okay? When you set boundaries, you lead yourself better, you lead others better, and you're promoting emotional safety. So remember, if you are a leader in your home, a leader at work, if you have your own business or you're leading a team, remember we are modeling our leadership, our character, our personality, and we need to model emotional safety, okay? We need to preserve our energy for our mission. So in the burnout videos, I did say how Jesus didn't just people please and heal everybody and do everything everybody wanted in his ministry. He protected his peace for the sake of his mission. Okay, so we are to model after him. And he withdrew from the crowd, he said no, and he had his own rhythm and spiritual boundaries. Okay. And in our last video, we talked about these signs that you might need boundaries. So we'll just quickly go over those. You might feel resentful, drained, or invisible. Let's see how many you can relate to today. You might feel resentful, drained, or invisible. You say yes, but secretly wish you had said no, or that you could say no, but something's holding you back. You avoid conflict and you carry the emotional weight of others. You're constantly on, even when you're exhausted. Your time never feels like your own. And being aware of this is the first act of being able to set boundaries for yourself. So we admitted that we had burnout, stress, and overwhelm in the other podcast. And now we can be aware of how can we improve this awareness and managing of decision making with the boundary tool. Okay. Now, I'm so excited for you because boundaries have been really life-changing for me. Let's just dive right into the boundary building framework. Step 1, identify the leak. So ask yourself, where in your life do you feel tension, frustrated, or overwhelmed? What drains you emotionally or energetically, right? In your journal, ask yourself, what is costing me peace right now? Okay, so in your journal, put the date down. I love journaling because we can go back and see how God has worked in our lives from our just journal dumping and reflections. Then we come back and say, whoa, this is where I was in 2022. Where did that year even go? This is crazy. Look how far I've come. Okay. So I encourage journaling, and and I will repeat that. Okay. So step 1, identify the leak. Where in your life do you feel tension, frustration, or overwhelm? What drains you emotionally or energetically? And in your journal, ask yourself, what's costing me peace right now? Okay. This can be overwhelming because your list might be really short and specific, or it can be really long because there's pretty much 7 areas of life, right? To kind of figure all of this out. And that is, emotional, mental, physical, career, financial, relationships, and spiritual. Okay. So in all of these areas, what is costing you your peace? Step 2, clarify the need. Name what would make you feel more aligned. So after you have the list of what's costing you peace, then kind of maybe even in a chart form, say, well, with this is what would make it better. Okay. Some examples of that are, okay, if I feel really drained and my time is not my own, something that can make you feel more aligned could be, I need alone time every Sunday. Okay, that's something very specific. Name it, write it down, and see how you can make that work. Okay. Another example is, I need clear communication from my manager, or I need clear communication from my spouse, or I need more clear communication with my kids or my teenager, right? And another example is, I need to stop answering calls during dinner. Okay, so that goes into the digital boundaries. Now, I personally have a rule where there's no screens at the table, ever. So at any meal, any snacks, anything, when you are at the table, whether it's kind of a meal and you're with someone, we don't have phones or screens at the table, so that we make sure that we have like live human interaction, right? Great. So next, step 3, communicate and reinforce. Okay. So in personal relationships, I have personal and work relationship examples. So here's how you can communicate your boundaries. In personal relationships, I love you, and I also need quiet time in the evening to recharge. So this is someone who needs time to themselves to recharge. Sometimes it can be the opposite. Okay? There can be a boundary where someone is taking too much time away and you can't recharge because you need that connection and human interaction, and you're not getting enough of it. And so for you to recharge, you need to actually have time together, and that's not happening. So you would communicate, I love you, but I find that I feel disconnected, and I will need more time together, right? So that would be the opposite. So someone who needs more quiet time has to communicate that, and someone who needs more time together to recharge. Okay, these are two opposite ends of the magnet, right? That is the way to communicate that, and that's going to give you peace, and it's going to recharge you and fill up your bucket. Okay. Another example, in personal relationships, I can't help you with that today, but I'd love to show up fully another time. This can be for any relationship in family, personal relationships, and friends. But I think I'm hearing for parents, right? like your kids need things from you, and we can't always be there for everything every time. And it doesn't mean you're a bad parent, okay? But something that can be consistently improved is your communication with them, and then they will get used to feeling loved and respected because of really great, clear communication. Now, where this comes in with boundaries for you as a parent, and this is just an example, right? For this type of leadership, is you are going to restore your peace because you are clearly communicating that you want to help them, but you can't help them right now or even today. Like you can maybe schedule another time to help them. You might feel guilty and they're going to be disappointed, but these are things that need to be built up with respect and resilience without guilt, so that there's really great character building there, okay? In work relationships, I'm not available after 6, but I'll get to it first thing tomorrow. So in work and personal relationships, it's really great when you are going to refrain from something to protect your peace, but you can also create a solution so that you're still helping the person, okay? And you're coming up with that solution. So you're not saying, I don't know, right? I'm not available after 6, so forget you. Figure it out yourself. That's not what we're doing. We are working together as a team. That's a really, really great leadership, is when you are leading across, even to a coworker, someone that's the same as you, same level as you, that you're still leading in that way. I believe in 360-degree leadership. I'm a huge fan of that, and with John Maxwell. And that's something that I promote. So always, with a boundary, you're learning how to protect your time and energy, but you're also being a spring forward for the whole solution, and you're not leaving the other person stressed out, okay? So I'm not available after 6, but I'll take a look at it first thing in the morning or whenever that's going to be appropriate. Another example is, that's outside my scope right now. Let's talk about priorities. So something huge is when we feel overwhelmed, when I feel overwhelmed, one of the first things that I do is get my pen and paper out and start writing down everything that's going on. I'm a mind map girl. I'm kind of all over the place. I like color, highlighters, drawing. If you're just a list person, that's cool. Okay, cool. Props to you. Just write a list and prioritize. And for me, it looks a little bit more like Looney Tunes, but we get to the same outcome, where we are creating our priorities, and that's going to help you set your boundaries and communicate clearly, okay? That's outside of my scope. What does that mean? How are you going to ever be able to say that to someone confidently if you don't have your scope, your list of everything that's going on in your life? Prioritize them, boom. Then you can say that you have the big picture in mind. You're in control of your life and your schedule, even for that day, for that week, for that month. And then you can say, okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Let's talk about our priorities together in the workplace. And this is why, this is how it looks. And then prioritize where that task can actually fall and get done in the broad scope of things, okay? Now, the tips for communicating is using I statements, like, I feel this is how this is affecting me, and this is what I need. And we can also remember to pull it back in so that the other person's not feeling attacked, okay? and be kind but direct. So this is where the courage comes in. When you are confident about your universe, like your life. I say universe because deep inside of us, there's so much depth of, I picture that we are each a universe, or that we are each this deep ocean, right, of things to discover. And I think that's really beautiful. And so we are the ones who know that. So we are the ones who need to help other people learn what our limits are and what we're capable of. So with that, then we can be direct and be kind at the same time in our communication, okay? Repetition equals reinforcement. Expect pushback and not perfection, okay? So when you're communicating, I repeated step 1 because I start talking and I want to make sure, like, I'm trailing off. What I'm saying is useful. What I'm saying is visual, helps you think. If we say, if we have a story, or if we have something that is, giving you ideas of how this can work in your life, well, that could start to get cloudy for you, and you're going to forget what the point was, right? You're going to forget, well, what was tip number 1 again? Okay, well, if I repeat it, it's okay. Like YouTube video creators wise, right? Like, I'm thinking, oh, should I repeat this? Oh, maybe I can edit that out. No, repetition really helps for the other person to remember, okay? And I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not afraid to repeat and reinforce, because I certainly needed that when I am learning new modalities, new skills, and especially when you are going to act, right? We can't get it right away with practice. Okay, so there you go. My dog was barking. I had to pause the video and keep going, okay? So with repetition and practice, I don't even believe in perfection. Only Jesus is perfect. So practice makes progress is my thing, okay? So maybe I'll make a shirt like that. Practice makes progress, and that's what we want more than perfection, right? So that is a communication tip. Repetition helps reinforcement, and practice makes progress. Tip number 5, or step number 5. Okay, so that is the framework, and that is what you can come back to this video, look at them again, and repeat that over and over to set your boundaries. The examples that I have are just to get you thinking of what you need, and then this is the first step of creating a boundary, right? There's other layers of boundaries that are actually acting it out. What do? I have felt so nervous acting out a boundary, setting them in place, communicating them. But there's a whole other side of it where boundaries do not exist unless you follow through, okay? So this is maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I've been trying to set boundaries, learning about it for myself and learning about it for coaching. And in the beginning, I was not able to follow through. I didn't know how to do it. There's too much fear involved, right? And that's what I'm here to walk you through and help you out with, to get to the other side of a boundary actually being effective, okay? And just to sum up this, to help you in this video before going to other ones, I'm just gonna, because of repetition as well, the benefits of healthy boundaries are, Okay, and so before I go, I'm going to remind you as to why boundaries are helpful. I'm going to remind you of the benefits, okay? You will become a better leader. You will become a better parent and partner. Your body and nervous system is going to be regulated. You're going to align with God's rhythm for your life, for rest, order, and peace. So good. And then you can show up for others more confidently, and you're showing them what's possible with loving leadership and your limits. Okay? So those are some benefits as to how boundaries are going to help out your life. All right, and this would probably be a little bit of a backwards thing. What I do is I talk about why you need boundaries first, which was our last video. And today we talked about the framework of creating boundaries. We touched a little bit as to why boundaries can help, the benefits. And I'm just going to remind you of why you need them, okay? The common challenges are guilt, fear of conflict, people pleasing, and even cultural and family expectations, okay? These are big. So you need to remember why you need a boundary. If this is something that's foreign to you, and you're asking yourself how to do this, why do I need boundaries? It's guilt when you are saying yes, fear of conflict, people pleasing. Now, cultural and family expectations is a good one, okay? This is why I love this coaching journey. When we go on one-on-one, we really dig into your past, your childhood, your upbringing, and family and cultural expectations. Sometimes we need to break those molds, break those patterns, and it is hard because it feels like, you're ripping away from something and it's painful to change. But this is boundaries with people that you care about the most are really, really freeing. All right. So here is your soul food for today. You are not selfish for needing space. You are wise for protecting your mission, purpose, and assignment. And boundaries are an act of good stewardship. Your soul food challenge for the day and your next step is choose one personal and one work boundary that you're going to implement this week. Write it down, say it out loud, and commit it to yourself, honoring yourself through it. Okay? So the rest of the work in this video is to make make your messy list. And then the challenge would be to take one of those and start practicing it and putting it into place. No matter how scary it is, I'm here for you. Drop your boundary in the comment, and I can start chatting with you too to encourage you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video for someone who you feel might need boundaries too. And thank you so much for coming from where you are, just as you are. And I am so excited to help you make you a healthy you because it is so freeing, these tools, and that's why I just have to make these videos and have to share them with you. And something that another soul food drop for you today, bonus, is if you are a parent, a leader, a business owner, a team leader, it's okay to just be you, and that is enough. And the world needs you. The world needs what you are doing, and that is something that has encouraged me to get to where I am now in my ups and my downs. All right. So the healthiest version of you is what the world needs. All right. So let's get there together, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.